Right now on KGW, a nationwide Starbucks strike reaches Oregon, where baristas are set to picket. Plus,
it's just frustrating for a small business. You know, it's not like we have deep pockets to go out and buy another one.
And thieves take off with a trailer owned by a small business in Tigard during one of their busiest times of the year. But first, we just got an update from investigators after 2 people were stabbed at a hotel in Northeast Portland. KGW News at noon starts now. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Ashley Grams. Police say an employee and a guest were stabbed this morning at a Northeast Portland hotel. According to an update from Portland Police, a hotel employee called 911 and said she had been stabbed by a woman who was destroying hotel property. When officers arrived, they say 2 people had stopped the stabbing suspect, who was arrested and identified as 19-year-old Shanae Daniel. Police say Daniel also stabbed a hotel guest. Both the guest and the employee were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A man who witnessed the stabbing told KGW one person was stabbed inside a room of the hotel, though that has not been confirmed by police.
And then I heard screaming on the inside. I didn't see what happened, but I heard screaming and her yelling, "Help me, help me." And then they arrested her right here on the sidewalk.
Police say Daniel will face several charges, including attempted murder, assault, and robbery. We'll have a full report from Blair Best later this afternoon. We're also working to learn more about a shooting early Sunday morning in Southeast Portland that sent a person to the hospital. It happened around 1:30 outside the Plaid Pantry at Southeast 52nd and Holgate. Police have not yet provided information about the victim's condition or any arrests. Portland police have released updated numbers surrounding traffic-related deaths from this year and last year. This year, 65 people have died on the roads. Portland police also updated last year's numbers to 75 people, saying a small number of cases were double counted for both this year and last year. These updated numbers mean 2023 had the most fatal crashes of the last 5 years. Of those 75, police say about 21 crashes involved drivers committing other crimes.
Almost every night we have multiple arrests for DUI here in Portland. You know, we write a lot of speeding tickets. We write tickets for running red lights and disobeying traffic control devices. We're working on this problem as much as we can. And what we're also asking is that the community join us in that.
And with the winter holiday season here, Portland police are asking drivers to be more aware on the road. If you're celebrating with alcohol, make a plan to get a sober ride home before you go out. Firefighters battled an early morning fire at a cannabis dispensary in Southwest Portland. You can see smoke pouring out of Addis Trading on Southwest Barber. Police told our reporter on scene that they cut off power to the dispensary to help firefighters. There's no word yet on the cause. And meteorologist Chris McGinnis joining us now. Chris, a big travel week for lots of folks.
Yeah, and the weather is going to start to get pretty wet, and we've got that coming in our 7-day forecast. But for now, a little lull in the action. In fact, check out this. The sun is out. It is blinding bright up on the mountain. We had a few sun breaks down here in the Willamette Valley this morning, at least in downtown Portland. We had about 2 hours of sunshine. That's gone. Cloud covers move back in. It's 50 degrees at PDX. It's cloudy or mostly cloudy in Salem at 47. And check this out in the Dalles. This is at Oregon's Veterans Home in the Dalles. It's hard to see more than, I don't know, 100 feet. The fog is pretty thick out there, as it is on the west side. This is a live look in Aloha, where the fog settled in this morning. It's currently 46 degrees, and you can see visibility down to a half mile in Hillsborough, 2-mile visibility in Salem, and looks like maybe a half mile or less out towards the Dalles. So patchy, thick fog continues at the noon hour across the region. And I mentioned we had that little window of clearing earlier. Clouds are already moving in ahead of our next weather maker, which will be rolling in here probably in the next 5 or 6 hours. There it is just offshore right now. Rain beginning to gather just off the southwest Oregon coast. That'll be moving in this afternoon. That is the first in a series of 4 or 5 rainmakers that will make for a very wet 7-day forecast. More on that in a minute. The remainder of today, though, clouding up 54, maybe if we're lucky. Rain moves in sometime between about 5 and 8 o'clock here in the metro area. And it's going to be a wet night tonight. And then we'll get some breaks in the action tomorrow. And then from then on, a wet 7-day forecast. I've got that coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Chris. A teacher in the Vancouver School District is scheduled to be in court this afternoon. He's accused of sexual misconduct with a minor. In a message from the school district, Hudson's Bay High School parents and staff learned Shabrayan Gatson was placed on administrative leave last month following reports of inappropriate behavior. According to the district, he was arrested on Friday. The school did not provide further details on the claims, saying in part it did not want to jeopardize the ongoing investigation. And in St. Helens, a total of 10 employees are now on leave across the school district. 5 are teachers. Our Thomas Schultz has an update.
Friday marked another turn in the St. Helens School District sex abuse scandal. Problems now stretch to an additional high school, where a criminal investigation is underway against a Plymouth High teacher. It's unclear what the details of the investigation are.
Until those investigations are completed, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern at this time.
In a Friday update, school officials released the names of 10 staff members on paid administrative leave. Many worked at St. Helens High.
It's embarrassing for me to be here and knowing that's my school, what my school is for in my senior year.
Staff on leave include educators at a middle and elementary school. KGW is not naming those who have yet to be charged with a crime.
Of course, the investigations are ongoing.
Those students aren't surprised who is on leave.
I'm not very shocked.
Half the people that we didn't know were on there, I feel like I kind of already knew were on there because there's already been some stories about that and stuff that students talk about.
Investigations began after former teacher Mark Collins and current educator Eric Stearns were arrested on several charges of sex abuse in November. Former St. Helens High School principal Katie Wagner also faces charges for criminal mistreatment and official misconduct. The scandal led to mass protests from students last month. St. Helens named Charlotte Ellis acting principal at St. Helens High, replacing Wagner. The district also has a new acting superintendent. Already, students have noticed changes among staff.
They're being more transparent.
The new admins are actually doing their job right.
We've seen more communication from the principals, the staff.
And some kids are cautiously optimistic. The worst is behind them.
Hopefully it's final. I mean, you can never tell who's who.
Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
A nationwide Starbucks strike continues today, and it now includes a store in Oregon. Workers at the location on Beaverton-Hillsdale Highway plan to picket this afternoon. But this is video from Philadelphia, which is one of at least a dozen cities where Starbucks workers will be striking today. The workers' union called for the strike on Friday after talks between Starbucks and the union stalled and went unresolved over issues of wages, staffing, and scheduling. Starting in January, PGE customers will see an increase on their power bill. On Friday, Oregon regulators approved a 5.5% rate hike for residential PGE customers. They also approved a rate hike for Pacific Power customers. But in each case, the hike is about half of what the utility companies originally asked for. Since 2021, residential rates for PGE and Pacific Power customers have increased by 49% and 45%. And surveillance cameras caught thieves taking off with a trailer owned by Tigard restaurant, the Tamale House. Now, the family-owned business hopes customers will stop in to buy a holiday favorite or donate to help them recover from the loss. Here's KGW's John Adams.
For many families, having tamales as part of Christmas celebrations is a yearly tradition.
This time of year is very important for people to get their tamales in their holidays.
Which makes this the busiest time of year for the Tamale House, a Tigard staple for 15 years. But making all of the tamales necessary over the next few days will now be a challenge after thieves stole the restaurant's trailer loaded with supplies.
It was the masa for the tamales, the lard, and the corn husk. 3 main ingredients for making tamales.
Surveillance video shows a tan SUV pulling into the parking lot early Sunday morning. You can see someone get out of the vehicle to attach it to the trailer before driving away. Jump says the tamale ingredients inside the trailer were worth a few $1,000s. That doesn't even include the value of the trailer itself.
It's just frustrating for a small business. You know, it's not like we have deep pockets to go out and buy another one. That ain't gonna happen.
It will also be a challenge to find enough quality tamale ingredients this time of year to fill their orders.
We need to make 5,000 tamales to cover what's over there in the next 2 days.
Jump says it will most likely take the business around 3 to 4 months to fully recover from the theft. This is his message for the thieves who took it.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. I don't care about. Just bring my trailer back. Drop it off in the parking lot. Drive away. I don't care. I just want my trailer. That's the bottom line.
That was John Adams reporting. The restaurant has set up a GoFundMe if you'd like to help them out. We do have a link to that included in this article on KGW.com.